Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year. 2022 is here. I hope you had a good holiday break. Got to be with family and friends. I hope everybody is well. And I know we can go on and on about all sorts of things, but I'm going to kind of start fresh. Lots of topics to discuss. We've got a new year ahead of us, a lot of things happening. So I'm going to just kind of jump off with some things that have happened over the holidays since last we chatted. All right, so let's start with this. I thought it was interesting. During some of the football games over the holiday, the governor was running a spot where she was real casual and, like, hey, everybody. And she was talking about how she got the auto insurance companies to give everybody a $400 rebate off the catastrophic fund. Now, I know there's lots of issues that people have about the insurance reform and where we're at with that. I'm speaking of this specific commercial, all right? The governor run this spot saying, hey, I got them to give you $400. Must be an election year, right? The governor is talking about how she's getting us free money. When actually, just so you're aware, that was part of the law that said when these reductions come in to everybody's insurance rates and whatnot, that anything that was overpaid needs to be refunded. And it was supposed to happen this year. So when the governor says, I got to have to happen, just remember, she was the one who wanted to veto this bill when we first talked about it a while back because we weren't going to give her 45-cent gas tax. So just remember the history of it. All right. So I move on. But that commercial or campaign spot caught my eye. Speaking of campaigns, the Redistricting Commission has come in with their 3 maps for Congress, for state Senate and state House. It's really mixed up the pot, and I am not going to say pro or con. I'm disappointed because they took what is currently the 101st and sliced it up pretty good, but it is what it is, so we have to deal with it. I will say that because of where I live in Benzie County, I will be running again for my 3rd and final term this summer and fall. But it will be in a newly created district, which has part of the old district, Leelanau County, and now Northern Grand Traverse. It's going to be called the 103rd, the 103. I will say, I want you to know that I took an oath and I will continue to serve the 101st until December 31st, 2022, because that's what I'm supposed to do. And that's my commitment. So it'll be an interesting year. I won't fib you on that, but we'll navigate it. And I will continue to represent my district. So rest assured on that. And I'm not going to talk anymore about the redistricting committee. It's a bunch of Democrats down in Southeast Michigan are suing in the courts because they don't feel that the civil rights acts were all followed. We'll see what the courts say, but just wanted you to know where I stood on that. One of the things that I think is really important speaking of our governor was last Wednesday, I think it was, a week from today, back, a report gets dropped from Deloitte. They are an accounting auditing firm, and they were looking at a very extensive look at the Unemployment Insurance Agency. There had been some other guesses and looks that said, hey, we maybe lost like $4 billion to fraud and whatnot. Well, this was a much deeper look, and it appears that $8.5 billion was lost in fraud or mispayments. Now, part of the issue that the governor has said, well, it's federal money, still taxpayer money, right? So here's what this report said: $8.5 billion lost, $2.5 billion to imposter fraud and stolen IDs, $5.7 billion in likely misrepresentation of claims in false statements. That does not include the $3.9 billion that the state paid out in error. And we're still dealing with people calling the office saying, hey, why am I having to pay this back? We go through the system. They don't. It is a total mess. The reason I bring this up, it's kind of old news, but now we have a new number of 8.5. And when you throw in the previous 3.9, we're over $10 billion that the UIA has screwed up on. Now, a couple of things. One, and of the 39, this is a number, I turned the page, it's important. Of the $39 billion paid out now in unemployment claims, 22% of it is fraud. Now, the governor drops this report, this bombshell report, the Wednesday of Christmas week, hoping that it just floats by. Well, here's the deal. UIA has had a problem. I know it has for a lot of years. But this, turning off the fraud detection, all of that, is on her watch. These are her department heads. And at one point, Interim Director Olson was asked, when was the last time you talked to the governor? And at that hearing, she said, about a month. One of your biggest trouble spots in a year full of trouble is the UIA. And this interim director hadn't talked to the boss in a month or more. That is inexcusable, in my opinion. Now, I can already hear it. Well, Jack, what are you doing about it? Well, as a legislature, we can attempt to create new laws. But if they don't get signed, they get vetoed, there's not a lot we can do. We can bring it up. We can talk to you about it, right? And our oversight committee has had multiple hearings on this, which has helped bring this to your view. So you need to know. We're telling you. So that's one thing that we can do, and I think we've done a good job of doing it. The other is there is a package of bills that I am part of that is bringing reform to UIA. My bill specifically is a citizen's advocate that says, look, we will create a citizen's advocate in the legislative, I can't think of the name of it now. There's a legislative review panel. I'm sorry, I just went blank. I should have had it written in front of me so I would forget. Point is, this will have some legislative oversight, and this citizen's advocate will be there so that when you are getting the runaround, when you can't get an answer, when there is a problem, there will be someone you can call to say, I can't get through to UIA. What's happening? This citizen's advocate would then have the ability to file complaints, alert the legislature, do certain things, which right now we've got to ask and beg and plead. The citizen's advocate would be given more authority. So I get asked, what are you doing about it? That's what I'm doing about it, trying to make sure that our citizens are protected and covered. Now, is it perfect? I wish I could wave a wand and make everything perfect. Can I get it passed? Well, I don't know. Maybe I can get it through the House and the Senate. Will I get a governor's signature? Well, that'd be a governor who's dropping a huge bombshell report in the middle of Christmas week. So we move forward. We continue. That's all you can do. So I just wanted to bring those things up to you as things that have happened in this past week. Now, we're back in session next week. Constitutionally, it is the second Wednesday in January. We will be there, and we will continue. I've got my my port assistance bill, which I think is hugely important for the commerce in this great state, that I'm going to continue to work on. We've got the child care bills, which are in the Senate. Hopefully we'll get those moved out here, hopefully, in January to the governor's desk. And we've already started working on some other very common sense fixes and changes to the child care situation. So we're continuing to work on that. And also, just so you know, because in the last month or so, obviously, the whole Oxford shooting brought up a lot of concerns and questions. And I know that the speaker, Jason Wentworth, has started a bipartisan committee. I believe there's 8 members to it, 4 Republican, 4 Democrat, that are going to look at primarily the mental health issues that are facing our schools today. Because I know there's a group of folks out there that say gun. What about the gun? Well, I've talked to some mental health experts who've even said, if it's not a gun, it's a knife. If it's not a knife, it's a whatever. The problem is not the instrument, but the mental health patient that is wielding it. And I'm an older guy now, and I think back, why do we have these mental health issues? When I was in high school and junior high and all that stuff, it wasn't the same. Well, it wasn't. And maybe we can spend an update talking about what the issues are, but they are different in social media. And in essence, sometimes lack of parental guidance is an issue here. So know that our House of Representatives is trying to lead on this issue, trying to get this some common sense reforms, not knee jerk, common sense. So we'll see what that work group comes up with. I know the members on it. I have great confidence in them. So with that, I'm going to say so long for this first week and first update in 2022. It's going to be an interesting year. Let's make the most of it, right? Always stay optimistic moving forward. All right. Have a good evening. We'll chat next week from Lansing. Good night.